All right, here we go. It is brand new episode 84 of the Odd G's podcast. I thought we were doing the show yesterday.
Yeah.
Made the studio up, and Harry goes, I sent you the link. He goes, for tomorrow? I go, jeez.
Yeah. You're botched, man. I don't know. I can't explain you, but I know a lot of people out there were very upset with us for not doing an episode last week.
We both
they
been
get pissed
under the weather. Yeah.
They get pissed off.
Yeah. That's a good thing, Harry. You're wanted.
I guess, but I was way under the weather. I did not feel like doing an episode last week. I don't even feel like doing one today.
You still sound like shit.
I do sound like shit.
You blowing that horn or what?
What?
It sounds like you got snot in there. You got to blow the nose out.
No, I'm empty.
Shop vac that thing.
Yeah, I gotta go out and put the tarp out here after the show because we got another 1.5 inches of rain coming. All we do is every 5 or 6 days get like 2 inches of rain. Yeah. Like when did we like live in this like torrential?
We're in Seattle, Harry.
Pattern. It's really fucked up.
This is not Harry Mays approved weather.
No, it is not.
Although our guest is Harry Mays approved.
Oh,
he is right there. Look at him moving around the kitchen. The whole thing. He can't sit still as usual.
No, I know.
I'm actually in the basement. I'm trying to get better reception because you guys are breaking up.
Yeah. So, can you imagine this guy actually being retired? Because I can't.
I know.
Yeah. Like I could retire. I can retire and go away and nobody would ever miss me. But John Marks has got to be, he's got ants in his pants. He's got to be on the air. He's got to be
always
talking
moving
sports, always moving around.
He's like a shark, Harry. Sharks, they even move when they sleep.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, Johnny Marks?
What's up? I'm trying to. I can hear you. It's just breaking up.
This is like a Mike Kern visit all of a sudden.
It really is.
What do you got the Kern dial-up modem going there, John?
I'm getting dizzy.
Yeah, seriously. This is like an episode of Cribs or something. Can you show us the car collection out there, John?
I can see and hear you guys now. What's up?
All right, here we go.
Jeez.
I think he's up in his like living room area or something.
He moved up to the Mike Kern Lazy Boy, the old the Barca Lounge. The Barca Lounge. Gail.
So how is retirement?
It's still breaking up here. I can hear you. Retirement's great.
Yeah.
You just
I love it.
The fucking walls.
Well, I mean, it's great until I don't get. Next Friday I will get like a partial paycheck from some stuff, but yeah, it's great till I'm not getting paid anymore. So,
yeah, every other Friday sucks.
Cool. Well, that's what you got to do. What Jason and I do, we just send the old lady out to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, listen, we were working on that, but I have some things that I'm brewing a little bit, so hopefully a couple of those things happen coming up soon. You know what, Harry? It's tough to retire when you have a 2-year-old.
Oh yeah.
I reset the clock. I'll be 62 when she's done high school.
Wow.
So I still have to work.
Wow.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'll be 60 when my youngest is 12. She'll be 13 in June. So I'll be 52. I'll be 60 when she's 18 and out.
I'll be 60 in 2 years.
Wow. Oh, wait, wow. I'll be 50. I won't be 60. I'll be 58. Yeah, you will be. But Harry, you're like younger than all of us because you have no kids.
Right. Exactly.
So we're aging in dog years. You're aging in Harry years.
Right. Do you miss talking sports for these last couple of weeks?
No. You're broken up. I can't. You guys are completely frozen.
What kind of Wi-Fi is out in Collegeville, Jason?
Are you on your Wi-Fi or cellular data?
What is going on?
I hope I'm not on cellular data. No, I'm on my Wi-Fi. I'm upstairs.
Wow.
How close are you to your router? When you call and you have Wi-Fi issues, how close are you to your router? I'm
very close.
Do I need to have a router next to my bed, next to the kitchen? How many routers do we need around here? I always thought a router was something you worked on wood with anyway. A wood router.
Yeah, no. So it seems like I'm okay right now, but yeah, the router's nearby. I don't normally have any problems with Wi-Fi, but do I miss talking sports? I don't miss it even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice to not have to deal with this Eagles mess that's going on right now.
What a mess is that? Oh,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Total debacle.
Now, according to what I saw today, A.J. Brown scrubbed his entire social media of anything and everything Philadelphia Eagles. And there was a players-only meeting where he was – Jay Glazer, I think, is the guy who had this. So it's not like it's coming from a local guy. They never get the stories, the local guys.
Right.
Jay Glazer talked to A.J. Brown, and apparently he said something to the effect that we have to start believing in our coaches. Start believing in our coaches. It's the playoffs.
Jesus.
Do you believe this shit?
Yeah, it's over.
He's a real leader. He said that as he was scrubbing his social media of any reference to the team.
Yeah.
Way to go there, pal.
So I've been saying this for probably since even before the losing streak started. I heard that AJ and Jalen's relationship was not good, and this goes back after the sideline incident or whatever. I don't know what the hell happened, but teams that are 10-1 and are winning games and beating good teams like they were beating good teams don't fall apart like this unless there's something going on internally.
Right.
Yep.
So whatever the hell's going on internally, there's something going on internally. This is bigger than X's and O's. Maybe it is that the players just are totally saying these coaches are idiots.
Yeah.
But let me say this: if that's the case, and the players don't believe in the coaches, Sirianni's going to be gone.
He's got to go.
Once the season's over.
Yeah.
Once the season's over, and Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have conversations and exit interviews. If everybody's saying, especially their trusted veterans, even if Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox, even if they're not coming back and they're retiring or they're going elsewhere, you're going to value their opinion. So unless things can change, if this is internal and this is a problem between the team and the coaches leaving the team, he's got to be out of here. I don't care if he won 32 straight games. This is going to change next year. So I believe this is as internal as anything we've ever seen.
Yeah, if they lose to Tampa Bay, I wouldn't doubt that he gets bounced the next day, and Bill Belichick is interviewing for the job.
I call the dude an Uber, and he's not even on the team flight, Harry. And I'm not a fire the coach kind of guy, you know.
Yeah, but Tampa's not a bad place to get fired, though. If you're going to get left at the airport, that's a pretty good spot.
No, you get to take a cab right to Mons Venus, Harry.
Correct.
Get yourself a nice cursory, drown your sorrows drinking a lap dance at Mons Venus, and you'll be all set.
Yeah, I told Seth Joyner on Twitter the other day that I got motorboated over there. Because he brought up motorboat in his tweet. Yeah, like if the Eagles get motorboated. And I'm like, I was motorboated once.
You paid $15 for 3 songs to get it, Harry. Yeah, you're right. It's Tampa.
Jeez.
Like those girls down there are all like 6 foot tall and 12s.
Uh-huh.
It's a great place.
Good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the
but I think they're going to win. I actually think they're going to win.
I do too.
Yeah.
Tampa sucks. I mean, they got 9 points last week in a must-win game
against Carolina.
Yeah, let's not act like there's some kind of wagon.
Yeah, I don't believe in this Baker Mayfield renaissance.
He's hurt too.
Yeah, he is banged up. That's true.
Practice this week.
Now their receivers are dangerous, though. That's the one thing that does. You could just throw it up for grabs to Evans and Godwin, and they're going to make some plays.
I agree with you, though,
it's
John.
It's a bad matchup.
Yeah, I think that
it's a bad matchup.
There's some kind of bad infection, though, going on down there. I don't know if it is all the players. They don't seem galvanized even against the coach. It seems like some are, some aren't. And these wide receivers, I'll tell you, the wide receivers in the NFL, they're all fucking batshit crazy. Yeah, I get why. Like, they're alphas and they want the ball.
Yeah, they're always open.
Yeah, I mean, they get targeted 8 times. They make 7 catches. It's still, you've only touched the ball 7 times. It's not a lot. So they're always wanting more. And I think like the jealousy thing comes into it for them in a big way. And they're all fucking crazy, these receivers.
But that is kind of interesting, though, what John said, that, there could have been a falling out between the quarterback and AJ. And, those guys have been friends since they were kids.
We've seen that before, though.
It's kind of bizarre. Like if Jalen Hurts can't rein this guy in, who is?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's not like A.J. Brown has turned in the TO here in front of our eyes, right? Like, yeah, he's a diva. He's a pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I just don't hear anybody like, I never hear AJ defending or talking about Jalen anymore. And I don't hear Jalen talking about AJ anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if these guys had this close relationship, they're supposed to be best friends. They had this close relationship. Like, where is it right now?
Yeah.
right?
not
Like
seeing it.
there's something that's internal, and man, I just don't know what you do because you need AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts isn't going anywhere.
No.
So, unless you're trading him in the offseason, but here's the other thing: he's going to want a new contract. You think he's coming back for the current contract that he's under? Like I don't. I think he's gonna want a new contract in the offseason. So you have the potential. You go from being 10-1, and we should have known better. I remember saying on the air, I'm pinching myself right now. It doesn't seem like this is being an Eagle fan. This has never been like an Eagle fan I've been. And then just like that, we go back to being Eagle fans.
But there were warning signs there, John. They were ugly. They were ugly 10-1.
Yeah.
But they were 10-1.
They were, but you know what? Like, yeah, like it's doing, this guys doing everyday radio for so long. Like there's only so long that you can shit on the team and they keep winning and keep winning. I saw the same thing everybody else did. I saw them, like in a lot of these games, be fortunate to win, but they were finding a way to win games. And the Kansas City win, it was like, all right, a bunch of drop passes, but still they won the game. Buffalo, they were fortunate to come back. Jake Elliott hit that 59-yard field goal to get it into overtime. So every game that they had, you could pretty much pick apart, but they were finding ways to win games. And they were in the Super Bowl last year, right? Like they were that close to winning a Super Bowl last year. So it felt like that you had to give them the benefit of the doubt. And once they go 10-1, it's like, all right, I can't crap on them anymore. They're still winning games. And boom, just like that, after winning the first 3 games of the gauntlet, man. And like to lose to a team like Arizona, and I mean, honestly, I think some of this, I think on offense, there's some issues, but on defense, they gave up 4 drives of 70+ yards in the second half,
200+ yards
70+
rushing.
yards.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Like that's just, is that because of coaching or is that bad personnel? That's both probably, but that's bad personnel. The defense sucks. And if there's something going on in the locker room and your defense sucks that bad, that's a bad football team right now. This is a bad football team right now.
You go out and get the hoodie? Could you imagine him here?
No.
Jeff McClain?
I wouldn't want him here, but
Why, Harry?
No.
Too old?
Yeah, I think he is a little too old. And if he doesn't have the right offensive coaching and his talent evaluation on offense is abysmal. Brutal. I mean, he's been the general manager there for a long, long time. They've never had any good wide receivers. Brady was holding to 9
Super Bowls, though.
Brady was holding that thing together with a tin can and string.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. He's 28-39 since Brady left.
Yeah. Well, that lends to the argument that it was Brady, not Belichick.
Yeah.
I would already be on the phone with Mike Vrabel's agent. And I'd be seeing if he would be interested in coming here, depending on what happens with the Eagles on Monday night. He is one of the smarter coaches in the NFL, and I think he could handle a town like Philly as far as how volatile we can be when you win and lose.
Players coach too.
And like he's tough. He's smart. I think the fan base would like him. So it's a matter of like, all right, if it's not going to be Sirianni, because like, does anybody feel like, well, if you get rid of Sirianni, like, who do you like? No, there's nobody that thinks that with Nick Sirianni. He's done a good job, but it's starting to fall apart, and he has no answers for any of this at all.
What about Jim Harbaugh?
Absolutely.
I'd take him in a second.
I would too.
I
would too.
Yes.
I think he goes to the Chargers or the Raiders. Apparently, are a possible destination for him. If I was him, I'd go to the Chargers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to the Raiders.
I would see Harbaugh No, I wouldn't either. But he started his NFL coaching career with the Raiders, so he has a familiarity with the Davis family. But I want to see Harbaugh selfishly go to the Chargers because I want to see what he can do with that team.
Yeah.
Because Justin Herbert can only be a great, look at the talent and the raw skills and the stats or whatever. Dude needs to start winning. He needs a real coach.
Yep, he does.
Yeah. I always felt like the Sirianni thing was volatile to begin with because it all felt a little forced to me with him. And maybe guys buy into that and the team bought into it and the way he kind of conducts himself. But I always feel like there's a little bit of like Harry High School with him. I never fully immersed myself. Look, I didn't buy in with Doug either until I had to buy in with Doug. But, I always feel like Sirianni felt a little disingenuous to me.
He
I
won.
should
The reality is that winning cures everything, and the nonsense where he's yelling at the Chiefs fan. Remember last year after the Indianapolis win at the press conference, he was like, "That one's for Frank." You know what I mean? Like he was so emotional because they had fired Frank Reich, and after the game, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody cares. You're the only person that cares. Frank Reich got fired. Like, so
a little decorum here too.
Fired again this year.
Yeah. How about Doug though? He unraveled too. They lost 5 of their last 6. The quarterback looks like shit. All he does is turn the ball over, and Doug Peterson isn't looking too good right now either.
Oh shucks.
Yeah.
I broke out the Stunad meter, Harry, at the
you did?
of some people replying to one of your tweets about Doug falling apart and the play calling. So I had to break it out. I went back and found it and dusted it off, put some new AA batteries in it, Harry. Thing fired right up. Was going beep, 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 right away. The old Stunad meter.
I thought Mikey Miss had that. I thought you gave that to him.
I should have given that to him as a parting gift.
Yeah.
On that day when I called in when he announced he was leaving, and I congratulated him, and he didn't want to hear it. that sounded
I never actually
insensitive.
Never heard that. I knew you called in, but so he was not excited about your phone call.
Well, I was having text exchanges with Mike, and he's telling me that he's going to leave. I'm done. And then I get a text one afternoon at like 4:00 from Tyrone saying, "Hey, can you call into Mike? Today's his last show." And I assumed it was his decision, right? Based on our text exchange. And I go, "Oh, Mikey Miss, won't see him no more." When I called, and it was like a moratorium. I didn't know that it was not his decision.
Right.
So I'm like, "What do you got going on next, man? What's the big plans going forward?" And he's like, "I found out this morning I don't have a job anymore."
Wow.
I'm like, "Well, you got bank."
He sure does.
Yeah, he sure does.
Yeah, I was talking to Mike and I was recently, and I was going back and forth texting with him, and I had said that, just talking about like the finances of being unemployed, and he was telling me, "Oh, you'll be fine." And I'm like, how the hell I'm going to be fine?
Yeah, I don't have your bank account.
Finances are.
All
yeah,
right.
I haven't been making $600,000 a year for the last however many years or
Keep
whatever.
Keep going up.
And it's a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, well,
maybe I can get up there and tell you, Johnny Marks. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if I was making that kind of money, I would be fine right now, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I'm unemployed.
What was that like, kind of rekindling your relationship with Mike? Because, I mean, obviously you were close with him for years. You worked with him, and then you became an adversary, and, there were shots kind of thrown beginning with him. And
by him.
Yeah. So how was that kind of rekindling that? Is that all water under the bridge, as they say?
I don't even remember when. I don't even remember. It might have been the World Series. I saw he texted me at the World Series. We were in of course, Brazier. We paid for the tickets, but Brazier was able to get us tickets, so it was in the same section. And he texted me and said, "Yo, are you in section whatever it was?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What row you in?" So I went up and I talked to him for a while. And then from there it was we might have like kind of made up before that, but yeah, we're good right now. We're fine. I don't like as he explained to me, he's like, he's like, you were going head to head against me, like we were going head to head together, right?
Yeah.
Like
no rules of war.
I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I mean, like when my mom says, "Why am I reading that Mike said that you're very little talent and was ripping you on the air?" I'm like, I don't know. Mike was at my wedding. I certainly didn't say anything about him on the air. You know what I mean? But like, whatever. It's water under the bridge, and Mike's very active. I've seen recently on Twitter, he's been putting out some hot tweets about McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It was
Mike,
a good one.
Mike, put the Twitter down, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Yep.
The old Jason Stark intro.
Hello, Mike. Yeah, leaving WIP. One of the nicest messages I received was from Jason Stark. He DM'd me on social media, and it was like, "Wow, like you're like a baseball writing ESPN legend." So
yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer, man.
Hall of Fame writer, Hall of Fame dude.
Just a great guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Hall of Fame
Jason's
dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I remember when my mom passed away 4 years ago. He sent me a nice note, and just a really good dude. Like you actually do. It's funny because we actually do meet some really good people in this industry. Of ego and insecurity is how I like to refer to it. And there actually are some really good people in there. And even though under the guise of war, sometimes things get heated and things get ugly, either internally at a station or with the competition. But when the rubber meets the road, what the fuck are we doing here? I mean, we're talking about sports,
right?
This isn't life changing. I think we have to remember that,
right? Yeah, like Sal. So you consider Sal one of those people, Jason? Sal Paolantonio?
I haven't had any correspondence with Sal since I left at all. I don't think Sal's going to be sending any text at anything that has nothing to do with him.
You had a beef with him?
I didn't have a beef with him, but
I did.
You
Sal
did?
Sal's a pain in the ass. Like when he would come on every Tuesdays with Sal, the whole thing, right? I come on at 5:10. I'd call him up to get him on, and he'd be like, "All right, I'm ready." And I put him on hold, and Mike could still be pontificating, and if it was more than 32 seconds,
he'd hang up.
Sal would hang up.
Yeah.
And I call him back, and I go, "I lost you, Sal." And he go, "Don't make me wait." I'm like, "It's not me."
Right.
Mike's talking to Ingy. You know what I mean? Yo. What am I going to do?
There was a great Sal Mike blow up where he what did he do? So he went
sister?
on. No, this was
your sister's
this
ass?
was when Vi and Gonzo were on The Fanatic.
Oh,
and Sal wanted to call in. I don't know, maybe he was promoting something or whatever, but he called into Vi and Gonzo on the same day on Tuesdays with Sal. And Mike heard it, and Mike told him no Sal today. So of course, who's got to tell Sal that?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
So
who's gonna do it? You?
You, Johnny Marks.
Yeah. So I had to, and man. So Sal obviously was not happy. So finally Sal's like, "You tell Mike that I'm on the air. He puts me on the air. I'm never coming on the air again." And I'm like, all right. And I told him, and I'm like, Mike, just put him on the fucking air. You know what I mean? Just put him on the air. Like, enough of this. We put him on the air and everything was all right. But you're talking about and I also think it's the era. If you think about the talent from that era, you're talking about Angelo. All these guys were writers pretty much at the same time. Angelo, Sal,
Stark.
Mike, they were all Stark.
Morgani.
If you think about that Philadelphia Inquirer, Stark had Stark as the baseball writer and the Phillies writer had a Sunday column where he was really the first one to do like the notes and the tidbits and everything in the Sunday column. But you had stars that were writing for the Inquirer, but you also had a lot of big personalities, and that's what you had with Sal. That's what you had with Mike. That's what you had with Angelo. And then those guys transitioned into radio and TV and whatever. And they still had. I mean, look at the success that all those guys had. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it would never be able to be duplicated now, the way it was done then, because it opened the industry, and they needed people with credibility to give the medium credibility. The funny thing is too. I remember when Harry and I were doing the show, the midday show, Sal would just call in.
Mm-hmm.
He would call into any show, just if he had and he'd call in to make a point, be on the air for 4 minutes, and then he'd hang up, and immediately there'd be a fucking invoice in our inbox for him. He would just decide, I could use a couple extra hunch. I'll just call in, make a couple of points, and I'll shoot over the bosses an invoice. I used to get him because I was the APD in management. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, we didn't ask him to come on. He just came on.
He forced himself on the show.
Yeah. Oh, let's go to Sal on line 2. How do? Here's the bill.
Prime Mike Tuesdays with Sal with Mike Miss was muscless in radio for years.
Yeah.
For years, those two.
It was his biggest segment.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
On
I mean,
Tuesday,
really, when you talk about appointment listening in radio, which is what we do. Jason Stark 4:30 at Wednesdays, Tuesdays with Sal 5:15. That's appointment radio. Everybody knows it's going to be there. Got another good Sal story. I remember John Clark told a story. I think it was when
about tennis.
About tennis, and Sal, as you can imagine, is like John McEnroe throwing the racket and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And John told the story on the air. No one thought Sal was like anything wrong with Sal or whatever. He just told the story, and Sal like threw his racket or whatever. Sal was so mad
Yeah.
John told the story of him throwing his racket. He probably is like, if Sal gets wind of this conversation, he's probably going to show up at my door all pissed off. But
in his old military uniform.
Yep, straight out of the Navy. He's going to show up with a bayonet. And one more Sal story. So where we had issues and like I've seen him since and we're fine. But he when Chip Kelly and Howie were having like the power struggle. Yeah. And I remember it was Mike was off that day, and it was like it looked like the Chip was going to quit. We didn't know what was going to happen, and then it came down that it's like Howie Roseman's being reassigned, and he was like in charge of equipment. I don't remember.
It was after year one. Yep. After year one of Chip. Yep. And so Chip became like he and Sal called in, and he was saying that this is a nothing story, that Howie's not doing whatever. And I just remember saying, like, Sal, I totally disagree with you. Like, this is a power struggle, and Howie has lost. I totally disagree with you. And that's it. That's all that I said. The next time I saw him, which was we were at Xfinity Live for a Monday Night Football game. It was Carolina against the Eagles. I was working with Sean Brace, and I went up to shake his hand, and he looked at me and he walked away.
Really?
And it was because, and it was like probably a couple of weeks later, and it was because of that interaction.
Wow.
So I went on the air. I went on the air, and I was just like, yeah, like Sal's is big time, and I was like, F him. So I started ripping him on the air, and Nahagian calls me in his office the next day, and he's talking about it's suspending me and shit. And I'm like, you're gonna suspend me? Like, he's an asshole.
He's a glorified caller.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Why am I getting in trouble?
Sal's a big deal to the station. Do I have to break out the quarter hour?
Do you remember when Mike had like at his new house, he had it was some kind of a get together.
Yeah.
And Tyrone was the first time I ever met Tyrone. The only time I met Tyrone. And I still hadn't talked to Sal then. It was still icy and it was still awkward. And I remember walking in, he had this one room that led to the bathroom downstairs. It was kind of like where the laundry was or whatever.
Yeah.
And I walked in the room, and Sal was walking out of the bathroom the same time like I was walking in the room.
In the mudroom,
like right in front, yes, in the mudroom, like right in front of each other. It was very, very awkward. I was like, "What's up, Sal?"
I beat Sal in ping pong out in Mikey's backyard that night. He had like a 15-6 lead on me, and I came back and stomped him, and then I beat him again. He was so pissed off at me. He wouldn't talk to me. My wife's like, "What is wrong with him?" I'm like, "I beat him in ping pong." She's like, "Who cares?" The old lady was over there outbacking it, building the fire, but I'll buckle.
That's right. She did build the fire that night.
Yeah,
that's right.
Buckled to the masses too, Harry.
Yep.
I sent you guys this video after I left WIP. I had a bunch of longtime listeners that sent me like some old YouTube videos when we were playing Win Missinelli's Money.
Oh God!
At Parks Casino, and Mike had lost. I beat him, and he was so mad. So mad.
Yep. That caused me a weekend of hell, Johnny Marks.
Remember the time he thought that Bruno was cheating?
That was the same time.
Was that the same one?
Parks was on Thursday. Bruno was on Friday.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's when the Sean Brace and John Marks picture that was on the wall in the green room took a thrashing from the trash can. Because Mike is just, I mean, you can tell when he's biting that lip, right? And he is just pissed. And we go to sound off that day. Everybody and people were ripping him on sound off that Bruno won. And he just lost. How's it good for me to and went fucking nuts.
He was convinced that Robin was texting him the answers or something.
Yeah, she had the iPad. Yeah. And he had his cat with him.
She was out on the couch.
Yeah. Mr. Robbins not texting me answers, Harry. He lost, and he and I fought the entire weekend. Because I said to him on the air, he said, how's it good for me to look bad? And I said, the only thing that's making you look bad is your reaction to losing. And he lost it on me.
Geez.
I'm sure he did.
That was probably not the most well-timed time for me to kind of say, dude, settle down. But we fought all weekend, and finally I sent him a text on Monday morning, and I said, it's over. We got to move past this. I don't want to talk about it anymore, because he wouldn't get on the phone and talk. Because he always like, I'll send you an email or I'll send you a text. I want to talk. And it was just out of control. And I'm like, we either move forward or I'm going to find a new job. That's what I told him.
Wow.
And we moved forward. And it was funny because after that, he and I had no problems. At Parks that day, when you beat him, he had a meltdown after that because of the light. It wasn't bright. He couldn't do his live read.
Oh, yeah.
And he walked off. He goes, so what do you think, Martinez? and
Yeah.
just like threw me under the bus. And I rolled with it and said some stuff. And then he goes, and what else? And I go, well, let's go to break. How about that? He goes, go ahead. And I go to break, and I couldn't find him for 20 minutes. I had to go corral him. I could have killed him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. But we got him where we needed to go. Yeah. And Mike did obviously some really good radio, and we'll see
the
what the future.
best.
Who's going to take over for you at WI Pay?
Mike Missinelli.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't. No, I was actually going to ask you guys. I would have thought they would have announced it if it was going to be Jack Fritz, unless they weren't sure if it was going to be Jack or not. I really
I'm not
don't.
hearing that that's the case there, Johnny Marks.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm hearing they're claiming
Something
it's a big
bigger.
name. Yeah. But be named at the end of the month.
It wouldn't. Is that what they're saying?
That's what I heard from
Or is
somebody.
that what you're hearing?
That's what I heard from somebody pretty well plugged in. I don't know who it is, though. He doesn't know. And it's the person told me maybe they're waiting on a non-compete or something like that. I don't know.
A non-compete, huh?
Yeah, but I'm thinking,
well, who would that be? Who's your guess?
Well, I threw a couple guesses. I threw Mike, and I threw the Kaj. But no, they want to go younger. That station leans younger now, especially. They've kind of turned over from the older guard. But I don't know who it could be. Like Brian Cunningham says Josh Innes, and I think no way that is the case. I don't think they're bringing Josh in. No, I don't. I don't think that's a good mix with Ike, and they think they obviously going to keep Ike there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who it's going to be. I have no idea. Tune in and find out.
Yeah.
Coming up tomorrow, a major station announcement at 3:00 with Mikey Biz.
Yeah. So who would it be? I honestly,
I have no idea.
I don't even know. I have no idea.
Who was the most out of left field recognition that you got, John? Like a message saying, "Hey, man, best of luck." But like somebody that you were just like, "Holy crap!" I know you said, Stark, but I don't mean like something like that. I mean like something where you were like, "Holy shit."
Richard Christie's wife, Richard Christie from the Howard Stern Show.
Really? You know him?
Yeah, she is a she actually lives near me. They've moved back down to the area. She's from up where I live, so she's a big WIP listener. Her and her dad are big WIP listeners. So she sent me a message saying like, "Hey, we're gonna miss you." Blah blah blah. So yeah.
Wow. That's great, Howard.
Now what about this one? Gonzo coming back from LA.
Gonzo and Ike.
It doesn't. Huh. I would think it'd be more likely to be Colleen Wolfe than Gonzalez.
Now that would be something.
Yeah,
that's something. Colleen Wolfe, Mike Garafolo. Would they leave NFL Network, come home? I don't know.
Yeah, who
do you leave NFL Network for radio, and a company that just filed for bankruptcy? I don't know that I'm doing that.
Could it be Mike Missinelli?
I had pushback on that. Like this guy goes,
I
either that or Missinelli and Bruno.
Not gonna be Tony Bruno.
No, it's not. No,
it's not going to be Tony Bruno.
No,
they're going young.
I don't think it would be Mike for various reasons, but also like right now the station's in a really good spot, and Howard Eskin's still a part of the station. Obviously, Howard and Mike don't get along. So to bring Mike in, the last thing you want to do is make things volatile again.
They don't have the dough to pay Mike. They didn't have the dough to pay you,
that too.
Let alone Mike.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like then, if they're gonna have dough to bring somebody else in, then it's like, all right.
Then they fucked you.
Right? Like who's it gonna be? Like you did have money, you just didn't want to pay me.
Yeah,
but
even though I was number one for 6 years.
I mean, listen, it's I'm quite happy with my decision. So I'll be curious to see, exactly just as a radio consumer, just to see exactly what they did. I thought it would be Jack just because I didn't know what other options they would have. Is he really ready for the spot? I think it would serve him very well to be able to do nights for a while. Yeah, be able to do nights for a while. He's so good with the digital stuff and with all the other stuff as well, the social media. I think he could do it, but
I thought you brought him along very nicely.
Yeah, Jack
empowered him a bit.
Jack was my intern at the Fanatic when when I left and went to WIP, in between, I was doing a website. And Jack was working on the website with me.
I didn't even remember him at the Fanatic. Being
I don't either.
Eric Camille wouldn't hire him.
Oh, okay.
Because by that time, Eric Camille had turned against me, and anybody that was my intern, he wasn't going to hire. So, do you remember? Do you remember the one intern that they did hire? I don't want to put his name out there.
Joe Tuzio.
They hired
Egan's
him over
boy.
Jack Fritz.
They did?
Jack Fritz, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Camille had some of the shittiest judgment in what we needed.
Oh yeah,
Ever.
for sure.
Wow.
I'm not trying to piss on his grave, but if I would have come in and they would have said, "Hey, you're hired to program the Fanatic," he would have been the first move I would have made.
Wow. Ryan says they'd bring in Josh Groban before Josh Ennis. You raise me up.
That was actually a daddy-daughter dance, the song that we did for
That's a good one.
For that one. Yeah, as far as Josh, I mean, I think he's really talented. It would make more sense at the Fanatic than anything else if they were to bring him in. But he's not working with Ike. Ike's not going to work with him.
Yeah.
No.
So he's not going to WIP.
That'd be a Molotov cocktail for sure.
So you still listen to a lot of radio? Because I know you were a guy that always would listen to out-of-market stuff on streaming and the shows out of Boston. And like you were up on everything.
Still do.
Yeah, Houston.
And you still do that.
Yep, still do.
Yep.
I was listening to Boston radio this morning.
Did you take at least a couple of days to not listen to anything?
Yes. Yeah, because the show up in Boston, Toucher and Rich, they actually just went through a
no
similar
more.
thing where Rich left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rich left. So they just debuted their new co-host, Hardy, last week. So I this week was the first week I started listening to the radio again. I was listening to Dan Patrick this morning. I was listening to some national stuff. And I was listening to Boston radio.
See, when I got fired, I was out. Like, it was so liberating. Now, I got fired on Halloween 2019. I was on remote at the Tilted Kilt with the Cuz. And I got the message late in the show, 1:20 from EJ. I need you to come back to the station after the show. And you know, when we're on remote, that's rare.
Yeah.
And then I texted him back and said, well, I'm going right from here to a sales meeting with our sales guy, Max. We were getting ready to close an orthodontist for like $100,000. He's like, I need you to come back to the station. I'm like, I'm fucked.
Oh, boy.
So I go back and I got the zip. Yeah. I mean, I went back there and walked into Joe Bell's office. We regret to inform you that you're another headstone in the Cuz graveyard. I was like, you assured me this wouldn't happen when Harry left the show and you brought him in. Yeah, well, it's a corporate reduction in force. We can't replace you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Here we go. 11 months left on the contract. Thanks a lot. Literally the day before I got zipped, John, we were doing a show, and I did the first 22 minutes by myself because Anthony was late.
Wow.
And I got zipped the next day.
Well, you've recovered well from it, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's so great. So, like, what do you do now? Like, what are you going to do for the next couple of months? Like, you're under non-compete. You can't do radio, obviously, but you're just going to kind of chill out and get your feet under you. You had a little bit of breather between the Fanatic and WIP when you went over there to do nights because you had to sit out a bit. But
yeah, 3 months.
But you were ready to get right back in at that time.
I've been doing full-time radio in Philly since 2006. So, I have some things I can't announce it because it's non-radio stuff. But I have some things that I'm working on right now. Because I mean, frankly, I need to make money. So whether it's DoorDash,
you're doing wedding and bar mitzvahs too.
Right, exactly. But I do have some things that I'm working on right now that that will be cool. Some content creation stuff. So hopefully that I'm able to finalize that and get going doing that next week. But outside of that, once my non-compete expires, it's a much different landscape than the last time I was in between radio jobs. There's terrestrial radio is a lot different now than it is, than it was back then. So, I'll look over some options. Hopefully I'll have a couple options to do. If one of those is the Fanatic and they're looking for somebody, I'll consider that. If it's something else where, like I haven't talked to Anthony, but if All City's looking to expand or something like that, I'm not looking to get out of the media. But
It's all you had to do,
I'll
really.
look at all options and see what happens.
Yeah, when I got out, I was
skills.
Yeah, I mean, I got out when I left WIP in 2011, and I was like, oh, I'm done with this shit. Done with it. I'm gonna go get a normal job, and I was climbing the fucking walls there. I was like, what am I doing? And I ended up going. That's when I went to the Fanatic. So, just not equipped to handle that. You got anything else, Harry? You've been awfully quiet today.
Well, yeah, I'm interested in everything John has to say. What do you mean?
That's why he's got to get back going again here.
I'm not the show here. I make the guests the show.
Yeah, well, you'll have to have me on again because my time limit has expired here.
All
right, get out of there. Go deal with your kids. Hey, Johnny, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Great job at WIP. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
There he is.
WIP.
WIP. Let's tell the people about our great sponsor, Harry, the Fudge Kitchen. It's a great time of year for the Fudge Kitchen.
Well, it's the official sponsor of Not For Long Media and the Odgies podcast. They're a staple down at the Jersey Shore. I'm talking about the Fudge Kitchen and all 6 of their locations. Cape May, Wildwood, Stone Harbor, Ocean City. They make all their fudge and sweet treats right in the store, guaranteeing a delicious product. Stop by and let them know that we sent you. And if you're not able to make it in person, no big deal because they'll ship it right to you. Just check out their website, fudgekitchens.com.
Great stuff. And Shoreboy as well?
Shoreboy.co.
Yeah. All right. What do you say we wrap it up there, Harry? We've certainly said enough.
Yeah, we have. Well, we didn't get into this Flyers thing. There was a lot of news with the Flyers and Gauthier over the last week or so, man. I was like, what the hell's happening here? All of a sudden, their top draft pick wants out.
Yeah, the whole thing is bizarre. 8 minutes into the game on Monday against the Penguins, we all of a sudden, I'm sitting there in the press box, and Charlie O'Connor leans over and goes, "Are you on your phone?" I go, "No." He goes, "Get on your phone." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Just get on your phone." And then Joe Seville came down, the PR guy, and said, "Hey, Danny just made a move. Check your email." And I see the trade, and I'm like, holy shit, where did this come from? And all the stuff that came out after, and what's the reason why he didn't want to play here? And is it because he didn't turn pro? The Kevin Hayes thing was out there, which I'm not buying into. I don't know. I don't know what the real reason is. He's given some vague responses that it's a personal matter between him, his family, and his agent. I don't know what that means. And didn't like, I guess, some of the way things went after he was drafted and decided to advocate for himself. And I tell you what, you put a real bullseye on you, not only with Flyer fans, but just in professional sports. When you're a 5th overall pick, and you decide I don't want to go, you haven't done shit, and you decide I don't want to play for that team, and force your way out. Now, the guy they got, Jamie Drysdale, I think is a real good pickup. If he can stay healthy.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about him. I know he's a defenseman, but tell us a little bit about
6th
him.
overall pick in the 2020 draft, and he's a guy that is very NHL today, Harry. Great skater. Like, he doesn't skate, he floats. Like, moves like Makar, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Really can skate well. And is a power play QB type guy, very comfortable in that role. Not a big guy, but, a lot of the guys in today's game aren't big. They do need some size back on the blue line, but he immediately slots into your top pairing right side, and right shot defensemen are the unicorn. And look, I wanted Gauthier here. I'm still angry that he's not going to be here because I believed in the player and the skill set that he brought, but the character red flags are enormous.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it. A right shot top pairing defenseman is more valuable than a goal scoring left winger. There's the value equation leans towards the right shot top pairing defenseman. And he's 21. He's young.
Yeah.
So he's been hurt a bit and missed about 70 plus games last year, missed a bunch this year. But if he can stay healthy and continue to develop under John Tortorella and Brad Shaw, then you got yourself one hell of a player, and you did yourself a favor because you got a guy.
And they got a draft pick too, in addition to that, right? A 2nd round pick in next year's draft, I believe.
Yeah, 25. Yeah. So they have a lot of draft equity. And what Cutter Gauthier, the whole thing did was it galvanized the fan base, Harry. Flyer fans have been, cannibalizing themselves, infighting and civil war for many years now, and rightfully so. Disagreements on how to move forward and when to move on and all those things. And this brought there's nothing that brings Philadelphia fans together more than a guy that don't want to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that brought everybody together. And I think it was a real inflection point for this new front office because, first of all, it didn't get out that they were shopping him for multiple months. That's number one. They weren't leaky. And then number two, they snapped into communicate with the fans right away. Danny has the press conference at the first intermission, second intermission. Briere's at the radio booth. Keith Jones is at the TV booth. Dan Hilferty is at Snow the goalie, and they all say the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't get a different answer pending who's speaking. It was all, if he doesn't want to be here, we don't want him here.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And Jamie Drysdale wants to be here. So
sounds like they did all right.
Yeah.
So
there's your hockey capsule in
big.
a minute. Yeah. That was a potent hockey minute, Harry.
It really was. And the Sixers have lost, 3 straight?
Yeah. And
Embiid's hurt.
Oh,
my God.
I'm shocked, Harry.
I know. It's just the same thing every year.
Yeah. Brian says the fact that it didn't leak is amazing. That's 3 things now that didn't leak. The Keith Jones hiring, nobody knew. When somebody said to me, I think Jonesy's going to get the job. What are you talking about? Jonesy. Hey, Jonesy, get a job as the president? Not in my lifetime. Right? That happens. Matt Michkov, 4 days before the NHL entry draft, he's at the Flyers skate zone playing bubble hockey with his brother and his family, meeting with the team. Yeah. Nobody knew until after the draft. And then this.
How's he doing right now?
He's shredding in the K. He's got the highest draft year +1 points per game average of any player in Continental Hockey League history. Higher than Ovechkin. Higher than Panarin, Kucherov, all these guys.
Wow.
Yeah. If you listen to the Ruble Report with my buddy Scotty Lachlan, you'd know that, Harry.
The Ruble Report.
Coming up in 10 minutes time.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I used to make you listen to that.
Oh,
when we drive home and he was doing the power play.
Uh-huh.
Now he's doing the morning skate with Gord Stellick, though.
Okay.
Gordy. Yeah, Gordo.
Good. It's a beauty.
If you ever get a dog or a cat, you got to name it Gord.
Gord. Yeah.
Or Cam. All right.
Yeah.
Hockey name.
Yeah.
Selly.
All right. On that note.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
That's it.
We'll see what happens on Monday, Harry. You picking the Eagles to win?
Yeah, I think the Eagles will win. I just like the line when it came out, and now it's up to 3. So obviously I'm not alone in thinking that the Eagles are going to take care of business. And, they win this game, but then the next week, trouble.
Yeah, they're going to get trounced. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they will win the game, although it may be ugly. But I think they come out and extend their season another week. So we'll talk about that and much more next week. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Episode 84. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Hit the notification bell there. That way you'll find out when we're live at all times. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time on the